like different nachos.
All right, hello. You are listening to the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. I'm Caleb.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle's
What?
here.
Kyle's
Yeah.
here.
Who let him in?
Well, okay, here's the story. We got several stories actually today for you.
We do.
So Kyle's here because we don't have a TriCaster right now. So I decided, hey, Kyle, you just want to be on the show?
Yeah, I didn't want to sit there and just stand there.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just had to come in.
Rachel, can you talk?
I don't know. Now it's working. Okay, that was
That's
weird.
accurate.
Your microphone is on.
Okay. It wasn't picking. It was picking up the other
I could
stuff.
hear you.
That was weird. I'm not hearing it in here. Weird.
Are your headphones broken?
Maybe.
Well, we're also having a little bit of technical difficulties, as you can see. But, we'll try to work through those.
And it's not my fault this time.
No,
I
we
can
are
prove it. I was
without.
here.
We are without our TriCaster today. It appears.
Yes. So what do we
Nice.
got going on today? We're going to talk about movie news and stuff like that. So we
Yep.
got your Batman v Superman trailer. We're going to talk about that. A lot of
I'm actually kind of excited for it. Well, I can explain some
Interesting.
of the extra stuff that happened in it, but
and we want to talk about Spider-Man's role in Captain America, and then Cartoon Network news. We got some of that. Jeremy and Kyle are actually pretty excited about. I'm a little excited about.
I'm
it.
well,
It's
say
pretty
Cartoon Network is Adult Swim. That's another big part of it, though.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, we'll have your plethora of Nintendo news.
There's a lot.
plethora,
A whole lot.
plethora today. And then we'll have your nerd vocab, and then your video game news. There was a whole bunch of video game news.
There
We had
was.
to separate the Nintendo news and video game news this week.
It's one of the few times that we've done that in actually several months.
Yeah. And then lastly, we'll have your technology news
And science.
and science.
Kind of.
At
Well,
the end of the
Science.
show.
well, kind of.
All right, so Rachel, go ahead. What do we got? Or Jeremy?
Yeah, let's let
Somebody.
Jeremy. He's a little bit more versed on this because
Let me break out the DC Comics nerddom here.
I'm more of a Marvel person than a DC person,
like
as,
both,
as
but
most people know.
I get a lot of the references. Recently on Jimmy Kimmel Live, I believe it was, Wednesday night, they released the second trailer for the Batman vs. Superman movie that's coming out. And it's kind of a hit and miss with some people. It's a little more confusing, and I think they kind of let slip a little more than they should have. Because
As usual.
I was already like, okay, we're going to actually show the Batman-Superman fight. They're kind of mimicking some of the stuff from Dark Knight Returns, the original book. I was already sold. I was like, all right, I'm going to go see it. But surprisingly, I guess they showed off Doomsday. They're just like, hey, Doomsday.
Here's Doomsday.
And some people were kind of up in arms complaining because the way they were showing it, it looks like Doomsday is going to be made by Luthor from General Zod's body. And,
Spoilers, Jeremy.
well, it's a
It's
trailer.
just
They show
what's
it.
in the trailer.
But for a history of that, it's kind of skipping over the first part of Doomsday. Originally, it was a Kryptonian weapon. They kind of built it and went, you know what? Bad call. Let's just boot this into space. That's apparently their answer for everything. Don't like your planet? Kick your kids out. Whatever.
Wow.
Throw it in space.
That was really hard.
That's what they did. So, the whole thing with Doomsday and Superman kill each other. Superman comes back. Doomsday's dead. But in the comics later on, Luthor gets a hold of the remains of him and uses, I think it was either Superman's or some Kryptonian's DNA to kind of regrow it and rebuild it. And I think they're kind of using that part of it.
Gosh darn it, Luthor.
Yeah, he gets into everything. Now, as for their portrayal of Luthor, I kind of like
He's
the fact...
not bald.
Well, no, I think he's supposed to be, but he's just got hair on.
Oh.
But I don't know. Either way, I mean, for a long time, Luthor had red hair. He was not bald originally.
Right.
And I like the fact that they're not going with someone that's the same height or equal physical status. He is intentionally small and mousy with how he is because that's the dichotomy of it. He's supposed to be this super intelligent person who was actually kind of good in the beginning and became so jealous of Superman that he kind of twisted it and went from there. Without Superman, Luthor actually kind of would have been a good guy. He would have actually done all this stuff to help just to feed his own ego. So, kind of curious to see how they go with it.
All I know is some of the reactions to it were really mixed. A lot of people were kind of angry for various reasons. My friend Kevin from up in Chicago, he's a voice actor on one of the podcasts I like. He started turning themes from the trailer into musical numbers that Luthor would sing. Oh, it was possibly the funniest 10 posts on Facebook that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to have to pull one up and read it later because it was just really something. And I for one, I don't know how I feel about it yet. The
I don't
movie
know
yet.
how I
Well, they had kind of the back and forth. Like people were thinking Clark was like faking being dumb and not knowing who Bruce Wayne is. But then they both kind of go into it. I think they already know who the other one is. You know,
he was very sassy when he was talking to
well,
Bruce.
they both were.
I was like, dang, the sass is strong in this one.
And there's even hints that Luther himself may already kind of know some of it.
Yeah.
I mean-
Well, so much for Secret Identities. Kyle,
Right.
what
Yeah.
have you seen it?
No, I haven't. You
Oh,
know, I like to be surprised. I don't like to watch.
Oh yeah,
movie
that's right.
trailers.
He doesn't like trailers.
Let's just pause the
Forgot
live
about
show
that.
for a few minutes, let him watch it. It's only 3 minutes of dead air.
But speaking of superhero movies,
Yes.
it's been alluded to that Spider-Man is going to make an appearance in the Civil War film.
Which would make sense.
Downey kind of spilled the news.
Well, also, I mean, in the
Spider-Man's-
original books, he was a huge piece of
well,
it.
yeah, but you know how recently they've been really kind of
Separating it.
separating it, and that's just, well, a lot of it was contractual stuff, but
Yeah.
now that they can, people have been like, well, are they actually going to do it? And if so, when? And Donnie said, he says, Cheadle and I are just going, wow, dude, look at this. And we're like the old guard, and our storyline carries real weight just because of our history in the canon. And then they're also looking around like, who thought that Falcon and Black Panther and Ant-Man and now Spider-Man? It's like, wow, the thing is just crazy. And it's just commentary on an interview that he had and whatnot. And, of course, Captain America comes in and saves the day, trying to keep the secret hidden, going, well, you never know with Marvel. Sometimes they shoot things that don't actually appear on film. And, wow, he's really, really trying to stay in contract there. Wow.
It's not even in context.
As you
It's
can
in
tell.
contract.
Yeah. Like Robert Downey Jr. just doesn't care, apparently. He doesn't. He's like, what are they going to do? Fire me? Yeah. But,
Fire me for being Iron Man. Ha.
so, yes, or maybe, if we're staying, within the rules,
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man is, quote unquote, in Civil War, which makes sense because the directing brothers, which is Joe and Anthony Russo, are making Civil War and they're making it part of the overall Marvel Studios brain trust. So they had a hand in actually selecting the new Spider-Man actor. So they're trying to bring it all together in a way.
And
I
they had
think.
dropped hints before saying that Spider-Man's kind of first appearance after this deal would be a part of Civil War. That's why they kind of rearranged their movies to get him in there and get some of that done. So this is just kind of confirming part of what we already knew.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited because Spider-Man.
Spidey.
I love Spidey. I really do. I really do. And I'm really happy about this little Christmas ornament right here.
Just Spider-Man
I
Christmas
got some
ornament. It's
Captain
actually,
America.
Yeah.
I got a Hulk one. It's very cute.
Thank you again, Kyle.
So
Yes, thank you, Kyle.
Speaking of Kyle, why don't you tell us what's going on with the new announcement that happened over this week that pretty much everybody's excited for?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, he said he'd be back. Back to the past. Samurai
Yes.
Jack.
Samurai Jack.
Well done.
Cartoon Network on Wednesday announced that the series Samurai Jack will return with brand new episodes in 2016. Only this time it'll be part of Adult Swim's Toonami block.
Which is very interesting.
Well, this gives them more freedom to kind of do what they want since it'll be on Adult Swim, technically, and not...
Not everything has to be robots now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very violent, but with oil.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be fine if they actually kept a lot of the original styling of it because it worked out really well for how it was.
Thing is, yeah, what if how it was if they do more stuff, I can't speak now. But if they do more stuff like that, then would it lose its original charm?
I don't know. I
That's
mean,
what-
if they keep a lot of the original kind of stuff that they had and they add to it, adding in, less robots, more human characters, et cetera, like less oil, more blood, as it were, then I think it would, give it an added element as long as they keep the other stuff and not just completely flip-flop it, unless they have it change where he's sent somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, given a lot of the stuff that Gendy Tartakovsky's worked on, or he's made, he's probably going to stick close to that style. He's never been one for like overt violence. We're not going to get like an Afro Samurai style thing.
I just get completely giggly every time I think of Samurai Jack because he looks like, the professor in Powerpuff Girls.
Same person made Powerpuff Girls, made Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, I know, but it makes me giggle because it's like, man, that man has a different life.
But no, I do remember watching binge watching it at one time. I was trying to catch up because I actually liked Samurai Jack as a series, and then all of a sudden it just stops. I'm like, wait, what?
Cliffhanger alert.
Wait a minute. No. Like, really? So
Well, see, he stopped doing that because, and the reason actually Samurai Jack, the final season was done on DVD only because he got the chance after Star Wars Episode 2 to do the original Clone Wars series. It's a 2 DVD set you can get that actually at the end of 2 starts, and the end of this DVD set is literally where Obi-Wan and Anakin are going to get Palpatine when he's being held on the ship and they're flying in. It literally it cuts from that scene and goes to the same scene in real life and continues on. So anytime we watch the Star Wars trilogy, we'll watch 2, then we'll watch those 2 DVDs, then we'll start 3 because it just leads right into it. Because it wasn't originally the CG Clone Wars they had now.
Right.
So, and that explained like where Anakin got the scar on his face, where he got his new lightsaber, how he started going to the dark side. So, he just couldn't say no to that when he got the offer.
I wouldn't say no either if someone offered me to work on Star Wars. Hello.
Well, I mean, that's how impressed they were with Samurai Jack. They were like, you could do all the sword fighting right, you could make it look right, kept the art style, and just, all right, do what you need to.
That's awesome.
That's also where, was it General Grievous, the big four-armed guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where he got like the coughing and wheezing was in that as well.
Oh.
Because it shows Mace Windu, spoiler alert, use the Force right as he's leaving and kind of crush his chest in, where he starts hacking and wheezing, and that's why in the movie he does that. So.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
Fun
find
facts
it. It's
for you.
awesome.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'll tell you borrow them. They're fantastic to watch.
I mean, I have seen some of the original 2D stuff. Like, I watched some of that. I don't think I ever finished.
We just
it.
have a movie night and just get together and watch them. They're great.
All right, so we're going to take a small little break here. When we come back, we'll be talking about Nintendo news.
Lots of it.
A lot of it. That's all we got. And we'll be right back here on the Nerd Edification, our alternation radio. What we're going to play is from the Legend of Korra original soundtrack. It's Left My Heart in Republic City.
And we're back here on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio. Kyle was supposed to intro this, but then he just
Got
didn't.
camera shy.
It's okay. We forgive you.
The performance anxieties.
I do too. That's why I do this show. But anyway, so Nintendo news. Lots of it. Lots of it. So,
Caleb, I'll let you talk about this one because you're a little more into it than I am. The only experience I have with it is my best friend Maggie's boyfriend Alex and his friend Russell are like hardcore into this. Hardcore.
all right. So, when Super Smash Bros. Brawl hit the scene, many fans of Melee disliked the new game due to certain changes in the series' mechanics and physics. While most of these people contented themselves by sticking with Melee, a small group decided to modify Brawl to give it that classic Melee feel. Thus, Project M was born. The fan mod has gained a great deal of popularity over time, and its members have moved well beyond simply modding the physics. They've added new characters, costumes, stages, modes, and even more, providing their ever-growing fan base with a wealth of content over the past 6 years. But that all comes to an end, for Project M has announced that they're halting work on the project immediately.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they can actually go do their own original stuff.
It's also so they don't get sued out of existence.
Right.
Part of this, I mean, originally, to give a little context, it started off, they were a disinterest in some of the side effect issues with, like, the tripping and things like that for Brawl. But they originally tried to do a modification on Falco, and that's when they found out they could do this, and that's where it kind of grew from. So it was kind of a single character mod that became something larger.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like, were they just trying to nerf them or trying to?
Well, I think they were just trying to just play around with this physics, see if they could kind of tweak him a bit. The biggest thing with it, the guys that actually made Project M were doing it for the right reasons, for what they were doing. They were building it. They were trying to grow the community with it and everything. it did get a little kind of toxic in the community with how some of them handled it.
And that also happens on its own in any community, really.
Well, this got to the point like they were wanting Sakurai removed. They didn't want him to do anything with Smash Brothers. They would make some of the releases would come out like at the same time Nintendo would make announcements. They would post theirs going, "Hey, look, we still have this."
To be clear, though, this wasn't all the members that were involved.
Well, I'm
in
not
this.
saying it's all of them, but it became kind of overwhelmingly. And Nintendo was actually okay with it for a while because at any time they could have given them a cease and desist and everything.
Exactly. And to be clear, though, according to the developers of Project M, their ending it is not a result of a C&D from Nintendo.
Right.
It actually, a little more clarification came out about it, but...
Yeah, it was a result of them just wanting to move on to more original projects, as I said.
They won't mention who it was, but apparently another group, because they were adding in different... There's multiple third-party companies they added characters to.
Yes.
Kind of said, hey, if this comes out, there will be legal action. We're just skipping cease and desist, and there will be... Because they actually... One of the guys finally kind of talked about it somewhat. They redacted part of the information. But they would have gone directly after the original development group.
Now, was this
right to a lawsuit skipping cease and desist?
Was this as a result of a previous build with characters or
with
the upcoming
3.6 that's coming out?
Okay, because that build actually has been leaked. It has been leaked.
Part of it.
Part of it. There are 3 characters in it that people know about because it was, I guess it was leaked before completion. Featuring Knuckles, Lynn, and Isaac. And yes, that is Isaac from Golden Sun.
Yeah, he is unplayable.
There you go, Kyle.
Yes.
Well, he's completely unplayable. Only about 50% of his code was done. But I mean, they kind of stopped because from a legal standpoint, they really didn't have a leg to stand on.
Right.
They were messing with someone else's IP, kind of doing this, so it can happen. But I mean, the thing itself was kind of fun, but it's been waning down because as Nintendo's picked up doing more of the tournament scene and they've been supporting them, they're not going to be running the Project M stuff, and some of those are removed. Twitch didn't have it. It's streamable on some of their stuff. They had to remove the channels. A lot of the tournaments weren't allowed to have it anymore. Like if it was at stuff like Apex, they had gotten a hotel building next to it and had run their own. They couldn't run it as an official part anymore.
Right.
So...
Very interesting. So, no more Project M. Also, talking about Club Nintendo now.
Yeah. Nintendo recently, and by recently I mean like months ago, they discontinued Club Nintendo, which is their membership program. They're replacing it with a new account system that will span across Nintendo devices like the 3DS, the Wii U, and the upcoming NX, as well as smartphones and PCs. The Nintendo didn't exactly say when it's going to fully be rolling out as well as the features. So actually everyone was really quite surprised when it went live in Japan earlier this week. Since then, Nintendo has issued a statement to a website, I believe, called VOOX.
Yes.
Indicating that the new membership program will be available in Australia and New Zealand in March of next year. VOOX speculates that this is true of other Western territories like Europe and North America, but it has not yet been confirmed. If we don't get it around the same time, we'll get it like a month later, I assume. That's the way it always is.
If they've released it in Japan already, I'd almost say the end of this month, of January, is when I'd kind of expect us to get it.
We're going to get it before the Australia and New Zealand then?
I'm guessing. That's my speculation. There's nothing out there for evidence of it. It's just usually when they do these releases, that tends to be the order they do them in.
Has there been any more information on this new system at all?
I'm
some things.
assuming that it's going to be similar to Club Nintendo in a way of, rewards, that there are going to be rewards offered, but that's probably it.
Well, with the Japanese one right now, for one, people have noticed as soon as they logged in and did everything, it had their entire purchase history. Everything they bought on any of the eShops, DSi, it's all there.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I was
that's good. I was worried
about
about
to
that.
say.
Well, we don't know
that.
what that'll do, but that's interesting. Now,
No, this is kind of, it skips a step in a way. Where if you have a purchase history of everything you bought on eShop and everything, and if it can tell what you've played on your 3DS, if it can access your play history as well, because
they've always been able to do that.
Yeah, they can access your play log.
Yeah.
Then that's an easier method of actually registering what's in your library, so you can get rewards for it. Because if you purchased it, hey, you should get something for it. That's just how it is.
They might probably do like a QR code or something with those if it's a physical one.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I could buy a game, share it with all of you, you'd all get credit, but only one was bought.
Right.
So
I
it'd
doubt
be
they'll do QR
maybe.
codes.
Yeah. There's a way.
They've been getting better at those.
Yeah.
mean, I'd like for them to do that on eShop cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Now, the other thing, though, is they noticed you're able to change the territory, which is kind of a first. So people can log in there and do their Japanese stuff, but put American stuff on there. So that could hint at a possibility of finally going back to their old ways of getting rid of region lock. And lastly, people are getting discounts and points based on eShop purchases now. So they've kind of taken the original Wii U, like you'd buy stuff digitally and you'd get the code. They're kind of tying that into the new one now. So people are already, if they spend so much on eShop, they're getting points back they can use for other stuff. So that's already in there, and that's just the beginning of it. So,
and that's really, really cool. Really cool.
And this is they've already said this is gonna cover a large number of countries that were usually never covered by Club Nintendo or any of this stuff before. So,
Well, I'm glad they're doing something.
Well, good on you, Kyle. What's going on with whatever that is? What is it?
Mario Kart.
We use Mario Kart.
Well, Nintendo's Wii U exclusive kart racer is making its way to Disney XD.
It's awesome. Disney.
In a new show called Clash of Karts Mario Kart 8. The show will feature 8 of America's best young gamers who will compete alongside various YouTube personalities, including Andre of Black Nerd Comedy, Atomic Mari, Strawberry,
Strawberry.
and Seth Bling in a 1-hour Mario Kart 8 competition. Clash of Karts Mario Kart 8 will air this coming Sunday at December 5 at 8 p.m.
Saturday.
What did I say?
Sunday. It's okay.
It's
I
fine.
forgive you.
I make more
This
mistakes.
is kind of weird
On
to me,
Disney
honestly.
XD.
But
This is kind of odd to me.
This is.
see, the
this
thing
like,
is, my
what?
first thought was, oh, Aaron's going to be so disappointed that he can't do this. And I'm like, oh, no, wait, he can't. He'd curse all the time and scare the little children to watch Disney XD. So,
Exactly.
no,
you
Aaron
do
can't.
it. No.
There's been some kind of Nintendo something on Disney XD recently,
There
hasn't there?
has. There
There
has been a
has.
little thing.
It's
Wait,
just Mario Kart's. Oh, go ahead.
I've never
The
heard
champion, they should have to play Reggie. They should. Except he'd
That
lose
always
so
turns
hard.
out beautifully. That always turns out so
It
funny.
does. It does. Next thing you know, they'll have Mark on there.
Oh gosh.
Oh, God.
But it's just kind of weird that they're doing a special for Mario Kart. I know they have the DLC that came out a few months ago, and the game itself is well over a year old. It's kind of, are they trying to get people to buy it again because it sells already so well?
It's just so playable and so fun, and I guess they thought, hey, why not?
Well, it's kind of interesting. They're doing the Splatoon tournaments were yesterday.
Well,
They could have aired something like that, more of a newer game that they got more content coming out for.
Well, maybe they will at some point. They just want to they want to test something with an already, well known to everybody game, as opposed to, because even people now, not
I'm about
to say
Splatoon's
no,
outsold
no,
Mario Kart.
No, not to say that nobody knows about Splatoon, but when you say Nintendo multiplayer to just a normal person on the street, not a gamer of any kind, most people will think of Mario Kart and Smash Bros. First, as opposed to Splatoon. It's a more familiar title to the masses.
Well, like with Splatoon gotten popular enough, like they had the Video Game Awards last night. It actually beat out like Call of Duty and a bunch of other
And I
games
was
for the
not
multiplayer
surprised.
shooter.
And we'll
Oh
be
wait,
speaking.
did it actually
It
win?
won the
Yeah.
multiplayer shooter. I was like,
that's awesome.
And we'll speak a little
Yeah.
bit more about the Video Game Awards in our next little section having to do with Konami.
I want to do that one, man. I want to do that
this
one.
is so funny, and it ties into another story in there as well. But
Well, in order to get
all
to
right.
that, you'll have to paraphrase this next one because it's actually a big.
it's pretty
chunk.
well. It's
a
we'll
lot.
go through
I
this
can
next thing.
cut through it pretty quick.
How about you? Do you want to talk about the NX, and I'll
Yeah.
talk about the the Wii
first
U.
one. Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
So basically, earlier this year, Nintendo announced that they are currently working on a new dedicated gaming device we mentioned earlier called the NX. Not much is known about it. They've dropped a couple hints, rumors. We've
I
had.
just have no
It could be
idea.
anything. It's a little bundle of joy that's going to come out in Christmas. I don't know. That's all it is, just glowing happiness. We'll have to wait until next year to get actual solid details on it. But what we do know is this is going to be a complete departure from their recent endeavors. It's going to be separate from the Wii and the Wii U, possibly even with the 3DS, and things like that. So, speaking with Time Magazine, Nintendo President Tatsumi Kimishima stated that the convincing Wii owners to transition to Wii U has been a challenge, as it's been difficult to explain what is different about the newer hardware to customers. And I've run into this with people before.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. As such, NX will be unique and different and not the next version of Wii or Wii U. As far as NX goes, I've said it's different and obviously a new experience. If you look back at the beginning of our conversation today, we talked about the transition from Wii hardware to the Wii U hardware and how difficult it is to explain to the consumer base what is different and new about the new hardware. It's difficult to convince them to switch from their current platform to the next platform. That being said, I can assure you that we're not building the next version of Wii or Wii U. It's something unique and different. It's something where we have to move away from those platforms in order to make it something that will appeal to our consumer base.
Now, it's hard for them to explain stuff to people who are going to buy the Wii U as like a gamer going for the Wii to the Wii U. But I'll tell you one thing, the Wii U is really easy to sell to parents.
Well, anyway, if they get their hands on it, it's the easiest time I've had.
Yeah,
They're just wow, I can do this?
Like I have looked a father straight in the eyes and said, "Do you watch sports?" And he goes, "Yes." And I'm like, "Do your kids like to play video games?" "Yes." "How annoyed are you when you can't watch your game because the kids are still playing the games?" And he goes, "Very annoyed." I said, "This console, they can continue to play it on the gamepad screen while you watch your sports." And he'll look to his wife and go, "Honey, we're getting this for them for Christmas." It's so easy.
Not to mention if you
That
just
should be the commercial.
It really should.
It really should. And
Nintendo, you need to take a leaf out of my book.
And like what I do, if I just feel like laying down, I just take the gamepad, just play it in my bed.
There you go.
Don't even have to be
Easy
near the
peasy.
TV.
We do that a lot.
And if you got to use the bathroom, you just
Mine won't reach that far. But
Now,
keep on going.
this
That's
being,
what the 3DS is
now
for.
this being said, the new president says that his first job in this time of transition is making sure that Wii owners have games to play. Since it's struggled to gain popularity, they've just sold over 10 million units in the 3 years since it's been released. Which
That's
a big number to us, but it's not really a big number to a corporate company comparing it to like the PlayStation's numbers or the Xbox One's numbers. We already know that Nintendo is already working on their next console, as we said, and a lot of fans are concerned that it'll mean the end of Wii U games. That's not the case, apparently. In the past, Nintendo execs like Reggie and the late Satoru Iwata have stated that they want to satisfy the Wii U audience before moving on to the next console. And the newly appointed president is sharing this sentiment. Like I said, and speaking with the Time magazine, he said that is my first job, to make sure that the 10 million people who have purchased this console will have games to play. And he knows that within the game business, momentum is key. When you have momentum, whether it's a platform or software, sales increase. At this point in the Wii U lifespan, we're looking at 10 million sell-through for the hardware itself, which is just about a tenth of what they sold overall for the Wii, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. So he doesn't want to abandon people, which I think is very, very good.
I think that is an awesome statement, though, saying like,
well, they say that every time, though.
Even though the NX is coming out, we're still going to make, because right now I probably couldn't afford another console right now.
Well, this makes me happy because in the past, Sony has done stuff like this. Like even when the PS3 came out, they continued to support the PS2 and have some games come out for it. Now, while their shutdown on it was quicker than, say, their support, like tech support, continued on a while after. And the same thing's true with the PS3. We're still getting PS3 games, even though that the PS4 is out.
Weird.
So, well, not really.
For me, it is.
Well, with Nintendo, it was kind of funny. Like, it was only just a couple years ago they stopped supporting the NES.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
all right.
So their tech support will continue for a long time, but they're taking a leaf out of other companies' books and saying, we're still going to continue to release games.
They used to actually do that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of, like, when the Game Boy Color came out, a lot of games would kind of support back to the Game Boy.
Right. I imagine, though, it was a financial reason why they had to kind of, quote unquote, stop doing that.
Well, part of it I think they did when they went from Wii to Wii U is they had to ramp up because it takes a lot more people to do a full 1080, like a full HD game.
Yeah, it does.
So they had to do that and also kind of wean off some of the developers that were using it as just kind of tossing simple SD games on there. Like, hey, we're going to make some of the newer ones and do that. I'm still thinking the NX, unless they just completely break from tradition recently, will have some kind of backward compatibility with the Wii U. the games and stuff probably be playable on it. They might have some. Hopefully, I kind of hope they have a version of the gamepad. I actually do really enjoy that, and don't want to go away from it because I use it a lot.
Well,
I'm sure.
what's interesting though,
Use it on Xenoblade.
what's interesting though, and Kyle, I thought of you when I saw this news last week, because I know that you had a lot of trouble with the touchpad on the gamepad when you had to replace the screen.
Oh, yeah.
right?
That was fun.
That was a nightmare.
In the Nintendo Japan website, they are actually selling replacement gamepads now.
Oh yeah, they're actually selling
Yeah.
full
Like
gameplay.
$120,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one so I have a backup.
which
for
was
later
about
on.
the cost of the repair.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep. Well, there you go. That's it for that Nintendo news. All right. So the song I'm going to play during the break. All right. So as we know, as you should know, Xenoblade Chronicles X came out today.
My mother has to pick it up for me.
Me and Jeremy both
Thanks,
got
Mom.
the collector's edition and the guidebook.
Oh, you shut your mouths.
Rachel's quite jealous.
Yeah.
Kyle's face palming because he's trying not to be roped in because
Yeah.
I told him, I'm like, Kyle, you might not like this game because I know you're very picky.
You all,
so pretty.
Yeah, you guys know that we're going to be playing
pretty
this
awesome.
online together, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Hold on a
I'm going to
second.
need help with the boss. But anyways, so
No, wait.
what?
Oh, high
Come on,
five?
Come on,
Oh.
come on.
Yes.
High five. Okay. For Kyle. I'll give you a high here.
Well, if he gets it, he can join in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you? No, you get to buy it first.
Oh, fine.
All right. Anyway, all right, here's the story. There's a USB, awesome looking USB with the
And
light.
it lights up and
All right.
everything.
It has the soundtrack on it. It has 10 tracks.
800 megs.
It's very small. So I go in there. We go to get it out. And turns out the program that has the files on it are actually
No, it's literally
Metal.
the soundtrack is a program. It says soundtrack.exe. So what you have to do is you have to play each individual file and then like pause them all, drag them all into Windows Media Player individually, I might add, and then burn them onto a
you had
CD
I had to burn them onto a CD, and then I
And
had
then-
to take the CD and rip it
and then rip it.
just so I could get the audio files off of it. And then I had to
I'm
go
just gonna
convert
plug
it.
this into my car when I leave and just see what happens.
It's not.
It
gonna work.
sounds
come
like
back
they're
in like
just
in
really trying
Friday.
to get you to buy
Now, I don't know if
a
like
special edition for that thumb drive.
yeah, I don't know if it was Monolith Soft's doing for this or if it was the composers doing for this.
I was literally looking around in the code, like trying to figure this out. Just like, what is going on here?
I plugged it in and I was like, what? But needless to say, our hard work paid off and we did get a song.
Yes, here it is. It's "Don't Worry" from a name that I'm going to try my best to pronounce. Hiroyuki Sawano.
Pass me the post-it note and
Hiroyuki Sawano.
and I will read it to you.
Hiroyuki Sawano.
I'm
Is that
about to
not
take a
it?
crack at this.
Hiroyuki Sawano. Yeah,
All right.
that's
Yeah, get it right.
correct.
All right.
Same
cool.
guy who helped propose Attack on Titan and Kill la Kill. And
Compose.
actually, it has
Yes.
the people who worked on Attack, like the vocalist from Attack on
No.
Titan and Kill la Kill.
Yeah,
in there.
it's the vocalist for the soundtrack, not the main themes of them, because Revo had nothing to do with this. But
So,
it would be great if he
There's
did.
some interesting facts in our journey to try and get this here today. We're playing "Don't Worry" from the Xenoblade Chronicles soundtrack. And we'll be right back here with your nerd vocab and video game news on the Nerd Edification Hour on Alternation Radio.
All right, and welcome back to the Nerd Edification Hour here on Alternation Radio. I am Jeremy, to my left.
I'm Rachel.
To my other farther left.
I'm Kyle.
And then if you keep going around that left,
I'm Caleb.
and now back to me.
He's so far. He's so far left. He's right.
Technically, yes.
Yeah,
All right.
That was yeah.
A little circular humor there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get back to the nerd vocab here, which this week, in honor of our lovely Xenoblade Chronicles X, which we all want to go home and play.
Yes. I won't get to play it until like after 9 o'clock tonight.
Ha.
It's so sad.
Loser.
We
Hey,
are just
I'm
heck
going
bent on getting Kyle
caroling
to buy this.
and getting some monies for
It's
it.
not
so.
going to work. It's not going to work.
So the nerd vocab for this week is Skell, also known as dolls in Japan. Skells are the mechs you get after playing Xenoblade Chronicles X for 30 to 40 hours. Hype train, hype train.
hype train, hype train.
For those of you who are already playing this game, we are jealous of you.
Yes, you jerks.
Which means you got a digital, which we had the physical copy, so
Haha. We got
I
the
don't know.
collector's edition. so
yes,
ha.
we did.
Tell
And
us about
guidebooks.
Konami
All right,
and their
now for
just
someone not so happy.
and they're just hilarious antics right now.
This is just wrong.
so wrong.
This goes back to the Video Game Awards last night. The Konami PR person, which actually was Keith Sutherland, got a Metal Gear Solid 5 award instead of Hideo Kojima. Yeah, I'm just as confused. Sony held its annual PlayStation Awards ceremony in Tokyo earlier this week. Oh, okay, you're talking about that one.
Yeah, this is kind of a prelude to it.
Gotcha. So it was a PR person for that one. Some of the gaming's most famous game developers gathered on stage to get awards for their games. Hideo Kojima did not. Maybe he was on vacation. Maybe he's attending the Game Awards in Los Angeles.
Which is wrong. He wasn't.
Yes.
on
What ended up happening, Jeff
vacation.
Keighley is the host of the Game Awards. This is the second annual time he's done it. It got a couple different awards, and one of them they actually had Keith Sutherland come and pick it up.
Oh,
And-
he went way off script on this.
Well, I mean, it's his show. He can do what he
Exactly,
wants. But
yeah.
he literally just looked at the camera and was like, people are wondering why Hideo Kojima's not here to pick it up. And then just started just laying out the truth. He's like, yeah, he got approached by one of Konami's lawyers who told him he's not allowed to travel to come here. He's not allowed to be mentioned. He's not allowed to actually be able to pick up the awards. They've basically, it's like a horrible divorce where someone's taken the kids and the spouse is like, you can't see him. I want money. Bye. And kicked them out. And I was just like, wow.
And then he went and posted on Hideo's Twitter saying, "Wish you were here, man. Congrats on the award," something like that.
And he
I was-
retweeted it.
And oh god, I can just imagine Hideo sitting in his house with his phone going, yeah.
Well, he's probably mad. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 5 did get a good number of awards at
Yes,
the video game show.
it did, and he deserved to be recognized. And
He's not even allowed to be mentioned.
It's so sad. It's so sad. One
Now
of
you
the best.
notice when they actually, in spite of it, when they never said this game from Konami, they went this game from Kojima Productions, which Konami has already liquidated them. There's no more Kojima Productions, and they're like, nope, we're saying it anyways.
Yeah, like it's really sad because he's a great developer and he deserves every bit of recognition that he's ever gotten and
He
ever
got
will
done
get.
horribly wrong by Konami.
Yeah, I don't know who he got who he angered, but he obviously
Konami itself
He said
kind of-
something bad about the pachinko machines.
obviously he must
didn't,
have.
He didn't want to go in the way that they were going. I mean, pachinko machines, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
Someone made a joke last night going like, well, I guess they don't want to have Konami sponsorship. And I responded back on Twitter going,
They don't need it.
yeah, they pretty much don't really care to have pachinko sponsors. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
yeah.
Gosh,
All
that
right.
just makes me so mad. But
So
this
what
is-
makes you happy?
This makes me happy though.
Wow, flip that switch.
This makes
Yeah,
me
I said
really
this to you, and
happy.
you were just like, yay!
I like did a little happy dance. So okay, and this is like straight from the horse's mouth.
I'm not a horse.
Well,
Wow.
straight from
How
the
rude.
horse's mouth to
For the news,
the
to me, to you.
Yeah, yeah. So, Final Fantasy 15 is now playable from start to finish. Now, this is kind of absurd to be like getting up to the minute updates on the development of a game, which is kind of it's kind of absurd because this game has been in development for it was announced in 2006. Let's
Were they
just say that.
celebrating back in ancient Greece when
Yeah.
they were like, hey, we have the
This-
Roman numerals for 15? It's the beginning!
Yeah, it's been in
Final Fantasy
development
15
for
confirmed.
it's been in development for like over 6-7 years. Oh
Long
my
time.
goodness,
That's a long
Like,
time for
it's-
development.
It is. I mean, 7 had a pretty long development scheme, but this is just ridiculous. It's had rumors of cancellation and just nothing at all. But according to one of the developers on the official forums, it is now playable from start to finish, as I said, and that the first half of the game is basically done, which I'm assuming basically done means they need to work on some textures and some clipping and some
Smooth it out.
and frame rate drops.
Well, if they want to keep it next gen, you keep all that. You do a day one update that takes up half your hard drive, and then you charge for other stuff. I mean, if they really want to be next gen.
Yeah, I don't think Square's going to take that
Wow.
route. They've done some pretty stupid stuff, but this is one of their babies.
I'm being snarky.
Yeah, I know
Yes.
you are. At
Snark
this
is
point,
appreciated,
now what's
honestly.
good about this is at this point in the game, devs can now start assessing the overall package and make adjustments as needed, as they've done with the demo version. Thank goodness. And everything is coming together, but more of that signature Square Enix fanfare is still on the way. The game isn't even getting release date until a special announcement event in 2016. So maybe all of it will be mostly done by then, and then they just have to make it spotless, and we get it in fall.
So 3-4 years?
Maybe.
You never said which fall.
This
Could be the fall of man.
Next
It could
fall.
be-
Next fall. That's what I'm shooting for, crossing my fingers for.
I'm not going to
praying,
lie. With as excited as she gets, it's actually kind of got me excited for it. Just 'cause it's
Offering
hilarious.
offering sacrifices for. I don't know.
I'm still gonna be playing
at this,
Xenoblade.
At this point,
Yeah.
I'll do anything. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sitting too close to her because I'm starting to get kind of excited for it. Just like, this is happening? Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting. If you hear someone from all the way across the other side of town just screaming, but not like painful screaming, just screaming, it's probably me.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Okay, so
So,
this is more, I guess, your
yes.
alley.
I-
Caleb, tell us
all
about
right.
the Skullgirls game thing. That's
So
kind of
Skullgirls
the thing.
devs Lab 0.
Mhm.
I know this because I actually play Skullgirls sometimes.
It's a fun game.
Yes, it is. Very good. Very well. Good. Very good fighting game, by the way. Skullgirls devs Indivisible reaches its $1.5 million crowdfunding goal, which is quite significant because they were actually kind of struggling at the beginning, and they actually had to extend it, I think.
Yeah, they did.
Even after like Game Grump, Aaron and Game Grumps, they were like, yeah, go fund it, and they were still kind of lagging behind there. So Indivisible, the fantasy RPG from Skullgirls creator Lab 0 Games, has successfully been funded. The game's Indiegogo campaign sits at just under 1.6 million, making it the highest grossing game project on the crowdfunding platform, in a while. So, if you're excited about Indivisible, I kind of was like, okay, I could see me playing this. It's okay. There you go. It's been successfully funded, and now you just have to wait 4 to 5 years. So,
Yeah, it does take a little while. I mean, look, I understand the crowdfunding part where a lot of developers having to use that to make it up. It's kind of become almost overused.
did you want to?
It's
you
not
wanna
on here. I just want to
touch
bring it
on-
up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because there was, we had Shenmue 3 got announced, and everyone was so excited, and they immediately went, oh, well, we need it crowdfunded. And that kind of was the beginning of some of this. But now, last night, out of the blue, they're like, hey, Psychonauts 2 is coming. Like, Psychonauts.
After
And then
all
immediately he came on
these
stage.
years.
Immediately comes on stage going like, all right, cool, we need crowdfunding. And then walked off. And we're just like, really?
Thanks.
I mean, because they've already had some issues with some of their crowdfunding for their other games, so people are just kind of like, have we not learned anything? Like,
Probably not.
It's like, we'll make it if you crowdfund it.
Okay,
It's just-
so
yeah. All right, moving on.
Go ahead, talk shortly about this if you want to. This one.
it's Blizzard, and they're suing.
You probably know more about this one than I do, so.
They're suing a bot maker over some copyright infringement and cheats that have been they filed a lawsuit against company Bossland, creators of buddy bots that enable players to cheat in wildly popular Blizzard games such as World of Warcraft. According to Torrent Freak, Blizzard's legal team approached Bossland freelancer James Inbright, aka Epoch, and offered him a deal, the terms of which have not yet been publicized.
Yeah, Blizzard and bots are like, because Blizzard's had a problem with bots. Even with Hearthstone, they've actually had. I'm pretty sure I fought 1 or 2 of them because there's a couple signs. But what it is if there's a lot of grinding sometimes in Blizzard games,
Which
and if you
I
want to go on
understand,
Hearthstone,
which I
you
understand.
just have a bot play
Yeah.
it while you're at
Right.
work.
Well, it really didn't help when they started
But-
doing stuff like in Diablo 3 where they had a real money store so people could have the bots go in and get stuff and they could sell it, get actual money, and it became a monetized thing. And it just blew up from there. Now, the point of it being copyright infringement, a lot of that's probably because they had to copy and use some of the actual code,
Yep.
which is copyrightable,
Yeah.
to make these bots. And as soon as you do that, you're done.
Yep. Unfortunate, but and also it's going to be a new Katamari game maybe. We don't know
Yeah,
much else
on
other than it's mobile, and Bandai Namco has filed a trademark for it.
Why does it gotta be
That's-
mobile?
That's it.
The Vita one was fun.
It was fun.
This is
So-
for phone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
So
then black. If it's on a
we
phone,
might as well just skip on to this next bit of
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
so then we can have a nice little outro song.
Yeah.
And in case we didn't tell you at the beginning, this is another little quick reminder. This is our last show of 2015,
Yes.
unless something happens.
But pretty much,
Yeah.
it'll be the last show of the year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty busy at this time, so I got to get stuff done.
We'll
Yes,
figure
you
something
do.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll probably do a Zen's podcast somewhere in there. 'cause-
maybe we'll see.
We're working on there.
So, Adobe is finally killing the Flash player.
Barry, no.
Yeah, so Steve Jobs was right. Flash never stood a chance of surviving in the same world as HTML5. And now, nearly 5 years after he shared those thoughts, Adobe is finally laying the name to rest. Farewell, Flash professional. Hello, Adobe Animate. News of Flash's demise arrived in the subtext of a official Adobe announcement for the new Animate CC. The Creative Cloud, as it were.
Yeah.
The application essentially looks like an update to the Flash professional software, albeit with a greater emphasis on HTML5 and reduced emphasis on, Flash.
I do know here at the college, last semester, they were just still teaching Adobe Flash. And actually, Dr. Goins is actually kind of upset because, now we're just doing away with Adobe Flash. Okay. So.
Well, it sounds like they're
she's
just kind of
upset.
renaming it more than just removing it.
Yeah. Well, they need it to be compatible or, be able to transfer and work with HTML5, whatever they're using.
Right.
Because Adobe Flash is only used on certain sites now, as it were, and most of it is HTML5. The software launches in January 2016 and will still support Flash. However, since an increasingly large portion of content created with Flash software actually uses HTML5, Adobe software should continue to evolve away from the clunky old Flash standard.
As long as I can still go to Homestar Runner, I'm okay.
Hey, there you go. That's good.
That is my only requirement.
And which one of you wants to talk about the NSA before we take
Go
our
ahead,
leave?
Kyle.
Me?
Or do you want me
Yes.
to?
Okay, I got it.
Go for it.
All right, so we're not going to get spied on the phone anymore.
Hooray!
As of midnight on November 29th, the NSA can no longer scoop up U.S. phone call data indiscriminately. As promised, the USA Freedom Act will forbid the NSA from indiscriminately collecting America's call metadata as of midnight November 29th. The law still gives the U.S. government access to the information, however. The massive database of cell call records now remains with the service providers. And the government man. Yeah, the government man. That'll work too. Can seek court orders to access specific records. The NSA will still have to access. Excuse me. The NSA will still have access to 5 years worth of legacy data through February 29th, but that's as far as its access will go.
Wow.
So basically, they have access to past data, but from now on, they're not allowed to. And this is actually a 9/11 quote unquote era thing that they did.
It's part of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. A lot
Yeah.
of that tied in there because they've looked into it and all the data they got. I think they didn't have a single actual instance of being able to use it in regards of actually preventing or even pre-seeing any kind of terrorist activities. But it allowed for a lot of content where they could kind of see what people were doing, what you were saying, and it was very Orwellian. If anyone
This
gets
makes
that
me
reference.
think of I think it was in the early 2000s where there was a law passed in Europe that forbid the government or whatever or any agency being able to store and collect DNA. For people who did not have a criminal record. They had a huge database of DNA profiles for people in Europe back in the early 2000s, even if they didn't have a criminal record. And the government over there passed a bill saying, no, you can't do that. And they had to destroy all that unless they had a criminal record. I mean, that's what, a database is for us, like APHIS and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's our DNA database. But the only people that are in there are, government, people who work for the government and people who have criminal records.
Yeah.
So...
Because it can be used in a lot of different ways. There was issues with insurance companies getting a hold of the data, could look through it and see people with certain predispositions based on their genetics.
Exactly.
And then deny them or change it instead of just going, the possibility is there, but whatever.
Yeah. And I guess the phone access thing kind of makes me think of the same thing because it's all about access. All of it.
Yep.
All of it is about access.
Yeah.
So that'll be it here on the Nerd Edification Hour for this year and for the show. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for your continued support. We'll be back sometime next semester. Whenever that will start, we'll probably post it on our Facebook page.
Yeah, keep an eye on the Facebook.
January-ish.
I will continue to be posting, hopefully daily, about this day in nerd history. I like to find interesting things that happen on these days. So, and that's actually, I mentioned that because that was one of the things for this day in nerd history was the European DNA thing.
Yep.
It was either today or yesterday. So... But yeah, visit us on Facebook. It's Nerd Edification Hour. or Twitter, which is Nerd Edification,
Yep,
or
at Nerd Edification.
Yep, or YouTube at Strangely Entertaining, and then you can also find Jeremy on Zenspath.
Which, by the
And-
way, on Strangely Entertaining, I will be uploading a plethora of Xenoblade Chronicle X videos. By the way,
Unless
once I get
they
around
have
to it.
a thing where you're not allowed to record.
I'm still gonna do it. I don't
Okay.
care. I'm still gonna do it.
Oh, about to
You
say,
rebel, you.
Yeah, I'm a rebel.
They've had no problem people doing that. People have been streaming it and everything with no issue.
Well, good,
Yeah.
because I tried to do that with Tails and it wouldn't let me.
Well, sucks to be you.
Yeah.
I guess.
So that's
Alright.
the nice thing about the Wii U, since you have to use a different device to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Well-
Okay, what's our
The outro song we're gonna have is Theme X from Xenoblade Chronicle X by the same guy. And till next time, stay fancy.
Happy holidays.
Peace.
Salongi, Bowser.